Hey, hi guys. So in this session, we will understand CSS Selector. So in the previous session, we have seen these many locators. We have seen ID, name, class name, tag name, link text, and partial link text, right? So these many locators we have seen in the previous sessions. In today's session, we will understand only CSS Selector. So first of all, we will understand what is a CSS Selector. So as you know, CSS selectors are one of the locators offered by the Selenium to identify the web element, right? Why we are saying here CSS selectors? Because we are going to use here ID, class, attribute, substring, and combining attribute, right? So that is the reason I'm saying here CSS selectors are one of the locators offered by Selenium to identify the web elements, right? So this is what CSS selectors. Now we will see why we are going to use CSS selector. What is the use of CSS selector, right? So for locating an element on the web page can be challenging, right? As most of the time the element don't have consistent attribute values. Hence directly using locators like ID, name, link text, partial link text, right, etc. will not be possible, right? So sometimes when we use simple locators like ID, name, class name, right, tag name, and link text, partial link text, right? So by using these simple locators, we don't find out the web element. So when you need to find out the challenging web element, that time you can use CSS selector, right? So how we can use a CSS selector? So what are the different ways to create CSS selector? So these are the different ways to create a CSS selector, right? So by using ID, class, attribute, substring, and combining attribute, you can find out the web element, right? So this is the syntax: tag name, tag name, and then bracket, attribute name, and then attribute value. So this is the syntax of CSS selector, right? We will see practically as well. I will show you each of them, right? See, so how to create CSS selector by using ID. See, so first of all, we will see this ID, right? So how to use ID in CSS selector. So we can consider this is a UI, right? Where we need to enter the first name. So once you will inspect it, then we are getting this element, right? So see, this input I have written here, right? This syntax. So here I have written tag name. So tag name will be input, right? This is the tag name, and I have written attribute name, right? So this ID itself will be attribute name, and this is the value of attribute. This is the value of ID, means first name will be the value of attribute, right? So this is how we can identify the web element in the web page. And there are two ways. By using two way, we can use the ID in CSS selector. See, so first of all, we can use this one, and another one we have, you can write down the tag name, hashtag, and then you can write ID like this. See, this is the other way. I have written tag name, hashtag, and then ID. It will be more clear when I'll show you in the script, writing a script. See here, I have written this is a tag name, this is the attribute is equal to, and in the column we can write the value of attribute, right? So this is the tag, right? Input is a tag, ID is a attribute, and this is the value of attribute. This is how I have written here, right? See, and this is ID attribute, right? So in the ID, there are two way we can use both of them, right? Same for the class. So I will explain you class as well. But first of all, we can see this ID by using practically. As you know, I already have created this project, Selenium practice. I will expand it. And under this project, SRC package is there. Under src package we have created these two packages. So under this locator in Selenium package we can create one more class. I will create a class with the name of CSS Selector demo. So again, after creating a class, we will write main method, and after writing main method we will create an object for Chrome browser. So we will write a webdriver interface, and we can take one reference variable is equal to new keyword, and then we can write this constructor Chrome driver. Right now we can import. See, so in my laptop, I'm not sure why, but I'm not able to import. I'm not getting the import option, as I already have imported all the libraries of Selenium. See here, reference library. It means Selenium libraries I have added here, but still I'm not able to hover over. See, after hovering, I'm not getting to import it. Then in this case, you can click here and click Control and space bar. See, now I'm getting to import, right? org openqa.selenium. You can click on it, and after that I will be able to import. See here, for this Chrome driver I am getting the option to import Chrome driver, and this Chrome driver class is available under this package selenium.chrome package. We can import it. Right now, after that, what we are going to do, I will have to find out one application. So I will use the same application which I have given yesterday to you for the practice. So here we can write driver dot get. So by using driver dot get, we can pass the URL and we can launch the application, right? After launching this Chrome driver, we can maximize the window. So why we need to maximize? Because as of now, if I'll execute this script, then our window will not be maximized. See, it is not maximizing, right? Browser, this application is being launched, but this window is not maximizing. So for that, we will have to maximize the window. So how we can maximize? Driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. These are the method which we can call to maximize the window. So here what we are doing, we are launching a Chrome browser, and after that we are maximizing, and after maximizing we are launching this application. Right now, if I'll execute, then it will maximize. See, right now what else we are going to do here? If you want to find out, if you want to get the title, this title, right, then we can get the title as well. How we can get it? System.out.println. I want to print, so that is the reason I am using this system.out.println. Now here we can write driver dot get title. See here, this is the method get title. So we can use this method. So if I'll execute, then it will return the title as well. See, title is Swag Labs, right? I'll close it. See here in the output, in the console output, it is printing Swag Labs, right? Now what else we are going to do? So we are going to see this one, right? I will write here, I will comment here so that it will be clear. CSS selector using ID attribute, right? So now we are going to use CSS selector using ID attribute, right? See, so how to use CSS selector using ID attribute? Let me explain you. See, So this is the application. We will have to inspect first. And after that, I need this console element in the bottom. Then I will select this one. I get it in the down. Now I will again click on this arrow button to inspect this text box. I will inspect it. See. So see here, this is the tag name. This is the attribute. This is the value of attribute. This is also attribute. This is the value of attribute. Same ID, right? We are going to use CSS selector by using this ID attribute, right? So what we need to do? First of all, we will see the syntax. I will write here syntax so that it will be more clear in the Eclipse only, right? Here only I will write syntax. Not here. I will write in the bottom so that it will be visible. See. So how we are going to do? Driver dot find, right? By dot, we are going to use CSS selector now, right? So I will write here CSS. See here. This is the CSS selector. I will call it here. So by using this syntax, we will try to find out the web element, right? So first of all, it is saying tag name. We will have here space will not be there, right? So it is saying tag name. So I will write here tag name. So what we need to do after inspecting, you can click between this element anywhere, you can click here and press Ctrl F button so that here you can write something. Find by string selector, right? Or XPath. We are going to use this CSS selector syntax to identify the web element. So how we can identify? Tag name, I will write here tag name. Tag name we have input, right? We will copy it from here and paste it, right? And after that, we need to use this large bracket. See here, bracket is there, right? It is important to use this bracket, right? After that, it is saying use attribute name. So here we are going to use attribute name ID, and then is equal to, and after is equal to, we will use this colon, right? And now we need to pass this attribute value. How we can use the attribute value? This is the attribute value. ID is the attribute and this is the value of attribute. So we will copy it from here and we can paste it here. See. So after writing complete this syntax, right? See, so it is locating the web element, right? See, and here you can see one of one, right? So it means it is uniquely identifying the web element within this page, right? It should not be duplicate. 2 should not be there or any other number should not be there. Only one of one should be there because we need to find out the unique web element within the page, right? Then only it will locate, right? So it means this is the correct CSS selector, right? Now we can use a double quote and then we can paste it here, right? So it means it will locate the web element to enter something here in the username, right? Now, after locating, what we need to do? After that, we need to enter something, right? We need to enter username. So this is the username. You can use any of the username. These are the username, right? So I will copy it from here. This is the username. How we can write the username? I will have to use send keys method. Send keys. This is the method. Within this method, we can pass the user ID. And after that, we can use the colon at the end. This is for the ID. Now I will execute it. Let's see whether it is entering the user ID or not. See, it has entered the user ID, right? User ID has been entered by using this syntax. Now we have one another way. We have seen this one. Now we will see this one. This is the other way. right? I will copy it from here and paste it here. See, now we are going to use, I will comment it. See, as of now, we have seen this first option, right? This first one. Now we are going to see this other way. This is the second way. This is the second way to use CSS selector using ID, right? So now I will comment this one. We don't need this one. Now we are going to use other way. How we can use driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, right? And within this we can pass tag name. So what we have tag name? Again, I will inspect it here. See, so tag name we have again. Let me again inspect it and I will remove it from here. See, so tag name we have input here, input, input, and after that we need to use hashtag, and after hashtag we need to pass this value of ID. See, so by using this second way, we are able to identify the web element. See, and it is uniquely identifying, right? So there are two ways to use ID in CSS selector. Again, we can use the send keys method to pass the user ID. So user ID we have this standard user, right? Now, as of now, I am going to use this one, right? The first one I have commented it, right? Now again we can run this script. See, again the user ID has been entered, right? So we have seen how to use CSS selector using ID, and in ID we have seen two ways. One is this one and this is the another one, right? Now we are going to see how to use class. By using class, how to identify the tag, right? CSS selector using class attribute. As of now, we have seen only ID attribute, right? Now we are going to see class attribute. CSS selector using class attribute. How we can use the class attribute? So in the class attribute also we have two way. So we will see both the way, right? So again we will have to inspect here. So username we already have seen. Now we are going to inspect password. For the password, so first we will have to see the syntax. So first syntax will be the same. This one will be the same for class as well, right? So how we can use? Here only we will have to write Control F. You can remove this and then you can remove it from here. And now again we will have to start writing. So if again you can inspect the password text box and here you can start writing. So first of all we need tag name. Tag name here we have input. So I will take a input here, and after that we need to use this large bracket, and after that we need to pass attribute name. Attribute we are going to take this class name, right? So this is the attribute name is equal to, we will use this single colon, and after that we need to pass this attribute value. If class is an attribute, then this is the value of class attribute. So here we can pass the value of class attribute. See, so it is not uniquely identifying. Here you can see one of two. It means it has been used for the two text boxes. See, so this is not uniquely identifying. this class have been used for username and password both, right? So if I'll use this locator, then it will not identify the web element. So this one we cannot use. So for this password, we cannot use class. So class I will show you for this login one, right? Here we cannot use class. So here if we are not able to use the class, then we can use any other way, right? Any other attribute. So we can see this last one. Here it is saying how to create CSS selector using other attributes. So we can use other attribute as well. Class one I will show you later, right? We'll use later. Here we can use this one. CSS selector using other attribute. So how we can use other attribute? Here only. See. So instead of class, we can use any other attribute. See, ID we already have seen. ID we will not see. ID we already have seen for the user ID. And class will not work because class is not uniquely identifying, right? So as of now, we are going to use other attribute. So other attribute we have here. See, class we cannot take. ID we already have seen, so I will not take the ID. So other attribute we have this placeholder, right? So this is the other attribute. So how you can copy? I will remove it from here. See, so this is the other attribute, right? So I will have to write here again input. Input is a tag name. I will use the input as a tag name, and then again I will use this large bracket, and then we can use this other attribute. See, it is saying CSS selector using other attribute. Other attribute means apart from class and ID. So other attribute means apart from class and ID, we can use any other attribute. So other attribute here we are going to use placeholder, right? So I will use here placeholder is equal to, and then we can use a single colon, and then we can take the value of other attributes. If it is an attribute, then this is the value of attribute, this password. See, so make sure whenever you are locating any element, then it should uniquely identify. See here, one of one, right? So always you should make sure here you should able to see one of one. If it is a one of one, then only it will be able to identify the web element, right? So now we are going to use this other attribute placeholder, right? So see, I will write here driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, and here we can pass the other attribute, right? And dot we will have to pass the password. How we can enter the password? By using send keys method. So first of all, we will have to use this send keys method, and here you can write your password. So password will be this secret underscore sauce. So this is the password. We can enter it here, right? So now let me run this script. See, user ID and password both has been entered, right? Now what else we need to do? We need to click on this login button now, right? So now we will have to click on login button. So let me inspect it again. See, so let me inspect. See, here class is available, right? Now we can see the class. Now we can see this last one. This one we have seen, right? This one we have seen. Now we can see this one, class one again. How to create a CSS selector using class attribute. So we already have written here CSS selector using class attribute. So how we can write driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, by dot CSS selector, and here we can locate the element. So see, for locating an element, see, so here I have located. Now I will have to click Control F, right? And after clicking on Control F, you can again navigate, right? So here I will write tag name. Tag name will be input because here you can see the input tag name, right? Again you can locate, right? So input tag name, not this one, right? So tag name. Now after that we can use this large bracket, and then we can take this attribute class. Class is equal to, again we can use this colon, and then we can take the value of this attribute. Class attribute value we can use. See, so now here class is uniquely identifying this login page. See, so whenever it is not, see, first of all, your preference should be ID. If your ID is not working, then you can go with the class. If your class is not working, if it is not uniquely identifying, then you can take any other attribute, like as I have taken a placeholder for this password, right? For the password I have taken, for the password I have taken placeholder, right? So this is the other attribute. So first preference should be ID. If ID is not working, then you can take class. If your class is not uniquely identifying, then you can take the place, this other attribute, right? So there are many ways, right? So you can use any of them, right? There is no any hard and fast rule, right? You can use any of them, but the only thing, it should identify unique web element within the page, right? So now we are going to take class here. So this class is uniquely identifying the web element, right, for this login button, right? So now we can use this login button here. We can use this web element here, right? And here, see, so after locating the web element, we need to perform an action. How to perform an action? By clicking this button, right? So we will have to click, and for clicking you will have to call the method click and then colon, right? So if I'll execute this script, then it will log in the page. See, it has been logged in, right? By using this credential, it has been logged in, right? So we have seen ID, we have seen other attributes, we have seen class in CSS selector. See, locator we are using CSS selector only everywhere, right? But within the CSS selector, we have used ID, other attributes, and class attributes, right? Now here only class we have seen. Now we can see what else are remaining in CSS selector. So see, ID we have seen, class we have seen, other attribute we have seen. Now we have substring and combining attribute, right? So this we have seen, other attributes we have seen. See here. So it is saying how to combine the ID and other attribute of web element to recreate the CSS selector. See, so we can combine two IDs, ID and other attribute. We can combine. How we can combine? So let me show you. See here, it has been combined, right? So we also can combine. How can we combine? See. So if I want to write a XPath for this user ID, right? Or else we can say this login page only, right? So how we can write? How we can combine? I will combine ID. So ID we can take like this. So first of all, we will have to take this tag name. Tag name we have input, right? So we can take the input, sorry, here input, hashtag, and then we can take the ID. So what is the ID here? ID, we have this login button. So we can take this ID, right? Now how can we combine with other attribute? So other attribute we have name we have, right? We can use the name as well. So name, we can write like this: name is a attribute is equal to and then colon, and then we can pass the value of name, right? So here we are combining two things, ID and one name, right? So we can combine like this as well, and it will work. If I'll comment this one, this first one, and we can use this one, driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, and here we can use this combined locator dot, we can call this click method. So if I use this combined one, then it will work as the same. See, logged in along with this combined locator as well, right? So this is how you can use. There are many way to locate the web element in CSS selector. So if any complicated web element is there which you are not able to find out by using simple locator, then you can use the CSS selector, right? You can combine the class as well, right? This is a class, right? So for the class as well, we can combine it, right? In the class, one more thing is there, right? So this is the one way I have showed you in the class, right? This is the class, right? And this is also, this is a name, right? So you can not here, I won't write here. I will write like this. This is the ID and other attribute, right? I will write this one. It will be more clear if I write note here. So I am putting note here. Combine the ID and other attribute of the web element to create CSS selector. So in the class, I will show you one another way as well, right? So we have seen this class by using that syntax, right? That common syntax. Now I can show you one simple way. So class, how we can use for this login button, we have this class, right? So how we can use, there is one other way that is very simple. You can use dot and then you can paste this class, and here you can see submit hyphen button, after that one space is there, right? So you can remove the space by using this dot. See, so what I did, I have used this dot and then this class, and that space I have in the place of space I have used this dot again, right? Now you can see this is the other way to use the class, right? So we can use this as well, right? So how we can use driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, and here you can use that class like this. See, dot, we can enter the password by using send keys, and here we can pass the password. This is the password. We can copy it from here and paste it over there, here, right? So by using this also we can use, also we can log in, right? This is the other way of class, using class attribute, right? So let me run this program. Let me execute this script. See, we have logged in, right? So let me re-explain you. I will try to maximize this. See. So we have seen CSS selector using ID attribute. In the ID attribute, we have seen two ways. One is this one by using this syntax, and another one is by using this syntax, right? And we have seen the example as well. This is the first way, this is the second way, right? In ID. And in the same way, here in the class as well, in the class we have seen two way. One is by using this syntax. See here, this is here we have used the first syntax, and in the second in the second way in the second way as well, we have used only dot. In the class we have used dot before, and wherever you find out the space, there you can replace that space with this dot. So there are two way using ID attribute in CSS selector as well as in class. We have two ways, right? In ID and class both, right? And by using other attribute, you can use, instead of class and ID, you can use placeholder or whatever will be available, right? You can use, right? And here we have seen how to combine two attributes, right? Here we have combined two attributes. I have used ID, this is the ID and this is the name, right? So this is how you can combine. And if you want to combine the class, you can combine the class as well, right? So see, this is the class, right? If I want to combine something else as well, then we can combine. How can I combine? Let me show you. See. So this I have written for this login button. Now I can combine with this one. This is the attribute. This is also attribute, right? So I will use this attribute is equal to colon colon, and then we can use the value of this attribute. See, so by using class as well, we can combine two attributes here, right? So now I will comment this one, and I will show you this third way by combining two attributes. Driver dot find element, again by dot CSS selector, right? Here we can pass this locator dot send keys, and then we can pass the password. This is the password, we can pass it here as well, and then colon, right? So by using this combined one, this is a class, right? And I have combined with other attribute. So let me again rerun it. See, it has been logged in, right? So there are so many ways I have showed you. So by using these many ways, you can locate the web element. In ID, I have showed you two ways. In other attribute, I have showed you. In the class, I have showed you two ways. And the third one, I have showed you how to combine two attributes. So here I have combined this class, and this is the other attribute which I have combined, right? And here how to combine ID with that other attribute. This is the ID, and I have combined with other attribute, that is name, right? So this is how you can use, and now we can see if something else is there. So we have seen this one, we have seen this one as well, right? Now parent and child hierarchy, right? This one also we can see parent and child hierarchy. So here, let me see if any parent and child hierarchy is there. So here parent and child hierarchy is not there. Let me see for this user ID. See, so for this user ID, for the user ID and password, we have parent and child hierarchy. See, so this is a parent, right? If I'll shrink it, if I'll expand this, then you can see this div is a parent tag, and this input tag is a child. So this is a parent, This is a parent tag and this is a child tag, right? So here we have parent child hierarchy. So how we can use, if you get like this something and you are not able to identify the web element, then how you can use this parent and child hierarchy. So let me explain you. See, in the class only I will show you. I will comment this. I will show you this other one. Locate a web element using parent and child hierarchy, right? So here I will write like this. Syntax is written over here. Syntax I'll copy and paste it over there. This is a syntax for the child and syntax. Sorry, syntax is already written. See, for parent and child hierarchy, syntax will be this: parent locator and then child locator. So let me write and show you how to use, right? So here how we can use like this. First of all, we will have to take this parent tag name. I will use a parent tag name greater than. Again, you can relocate, right? Parent tag name and then child tag name input, right? Here I will write parent and child tag name I have used, and then we can locate any attribute by using any attribute, right? So, so it means it is just telling you this is the child of this parent, right? Sometimes child is not being able to find out, then that time we use the parent name. So this is the parent name, this is a child name, right? So now this parent is this by using this parent we can identify this child, right? So I have used here parent div greater than and this child, and then now we can use any other attribute. So here you can use any of the attribute. So I will use this placeholder. Placeholder is equal to and then placeholder value, attribute value. So attribute value is username. See, so it is uniquely identifying, right? I will copy it from here and paste it over there. Here only driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, and I will paste it over here. And here for writing user ID we can use this send keys method, and here you can pass the user ID from here to here. See, so let me enter the user ID. See, let's run this program. See, user ID and password is being entered, right? So I have showed you so many ways. Whatever the ways are there in CSS selector, I have showed you all of them. See, in the ID, I have showed you two ways, right? And how to identify the web element when web element is available under child hierarchy, then you can use like this. I have showed you this one as well, right? Other attribute how we can use, I have showed you how we can use class. So in the class I have showed you two ways, and the third one I have used how to combine two attributes, right? Class, and here I have used one another attribute, right? And in the last one I have showed you how to combine ID and other attribute, right? So this is how these many ways are there to identify the web element using CSS selector, right? So this is a simple way. Now I will explain you one more thing. So if any dynamic web element is there, then how we can identify using CSS selector? So let me create one more class. I will write here dynamic web element using CSS selector. It's quite big, but it's okay to understand. So dynamic web element using CSS selector. So again, I will create one main method. See, so how to identify the dynamic web element using CSS selector? So there are three ways. Dynamic web element using CSS selector. So there are two ways. One is starting text, text starting with, right? Text ending with, and text contains. So let me explain you while writing a program. So again, I will launch the Chrome browser. Webdriver is equal to new Chrome driver. I will import it, hover over on it. See, so again I will launch the application driver.get, and then here we can pass the application URL. So application URL we have this sourcedemo.com. We can pass it over here. And after launching this browser, we can maximize the window. driver.manage.window.maximize, right? And after that, there are three ways to identify the dynamic web element, right? So how we can identify the dynamic web element? Let me again show you. So as of now, let me launch the application. See, through automation, it is been launched, right? Now we can identify. So the first one, it is saying locate a web element using starting text. I will write message here. Locate a web element using starting text. How we can locate the starting text? This is the syntax I have written over here. This is the syntax. This is the syntax. So here we are going to use this symbol. This is the special character and the name is caret. We call this symbol caret, right? So how we are going to locate? So let me go into the application and inspect it. See, let me again inspect. See, let me control F, right? So here it is saying tag name. Tag name I have taken tag name, right? After that, it is saying first of all we need to take a tag name and then attribute. So attribute we can take anything. So here ID is available. Since ID is available, then I will take ID here. ID is attribute, and then symbol for the starting text. For the starting text, we will have to take symbol this caret. Then I will take a caret. Caret is equal to, and then we will have to pass value of this starting text. So starting text, how we can take? See, so if I'm taking ID here, then text is username, right? But it is saying starting text. Maybe it may be text will be like this. Um, Maybe text will be something like this: user, and some number will be there, right? And then after that some text will be there. Maybe we don't know, but we know that it will start from user only, right? Then that time we can use this start with locator, right? So this caret means start with. So it is saying start with. It means we don't need to take all the all the value of this attribute. Here we have user hyphen name, right? So we don't need to pass all the value of this attribute. You can pass here user as well, only user, right? See, it is identifying, right? It is identifying without writing complete value of this attribute, right? If I'll remove here e as well, only us I have written, right? Then still it is identifying, right? So this is how you can use starting text. Starting text means you will have to take only starting text, and by using that starting text you can identify the web element, right? So here again same way you can use driver dot find out driver dot find element by dot css selector by dot css selector, and here we can pass this starting text locator dot. We will have to enter some user id. So user id we can copy it from the application. This is the user id, we can copy and paste it over here, right? So let me run this and show you. See, it is working, right? It has been entered user id, right? Now same for the password. For the password I will use the second way. Second, what we have, second, it is saying locate a web element using ending text. Now we are going to use ending text. Ending text, for the ending text as well, we will have to take the same syntax. The only difference will be symbol. This symbol for the ending text, it will be dollar here. Dollar, where it is? 4. See? So this is a syntax for the ending text. So again, driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, right? So we are going to use for the password, right? So let me inspect this password text box. This is a password one, right? So again, we will have to use the same way. Tag name, and then bracket, and then we can take the attribute. So attribute, as of now, I'm going to take this type. Type is attribute. You can take any of the attribute, right? But if id is available, then I would recommend you to always take id. If id is not available, then only you can go with other attribute, right? So here we can pass the attribute end with. See, this is a password, right? But it is saying end with. So I will here use that symbol dollar, right? And after that we can pass it here. So in the password we have spelling PASSWORD, but here I will use WORD only. See, it is identifying. I haven't used pass. I have used only word, right? But still it is identifying. If I'll remove this W as well, then still it is identifying. If I'll remove O as well, then still it is identifying, right? So this is the use of ending text. Here you can use this locator, and here we can pass the password as well. Password we have secret underscore sauce. This is a good application for beginner to practice. So let me run it. See, password is also been entered. So we have seen two things, starting text and ending text. The only difference in syntax, here we are using caret and here we are using dollar. Now we can use a third one. There we are going to use contains. So I will copy this same and paste it over here. Locate a web element using contains. Contains text. And for the contain text, contains text. For the contains text, the only symbol will be different. Here we will use asterisk. Asterisk is used for the contains. So again, how we can use the contains? So same, driver dot find element by dot CSS selector, right? And now we have entered the user ID and password. Now we are going to click on this login button, right? So for the login button, we are going to use the locator for contains one, right? So see, ID is available right here, but here login value of ID is login hyphen button. So how we can take here? We will have to use this tag name, and then here we can use the attribute we are going to take ID, and then symbol we need to take asterisk for contains is equal to, and then here we can pass some hyphen. See, so once we are passing hyphen, it means hyphen is being used for the username text and login both. It is being used in two places, right? See, in the user hyphen name, right? And in the login button as well, you can see login hyphen button, right? So it is being used in two places. So one more thing you will have to add. See, so now we are going to use here n. Before hyphen, we are going to use n. See, now it is uniquely identifying, right? So it means this web element contains this n hyphen, right? If you want to write b as well, then you can write b as well, b. Then still it will identify, right? So it means whatever the text you are writing here, that text is containing in the value of attribute, right? So we can take this, and after that we need to perform an action. How we can perform an action? By using click method. See, let me run it. See, it has been logged in, right? So I have showed you so many ways to identify the web element in CSS Selector, right? So if interviewer asks you how to find out the dynamic web element, so you can explain. To identify the dynamic web element, we have three things. One is starting text, ending text, and contains in CSS Selector, right? So by using these three things, we can identify the text, identify the dynamic web element using CSS Selector, right? So I have showed you these many ways. So today we have completed CSS Selector Locator as well. In the upcoming session, we will see XPath Locator. So I hope you understood. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment. I will try to explain you. Thank you guys for watching this video.